CinemaCon is well underway, and we just got some trailers for some very exciting movies from Universal Pictures. So let's get into the very first one I went to go see, because this is probably my most anticipated film, I think, for the fall season, and that is going to be The Black Phone 2. No brainer. They were always going to do a sequel, whether you thought it made sense or not. $18 million budget, 161 plus million at the box office. Come on, Jason Blum was going to go for it. But they decided to wait a couple of years, and I already discussed this reason why they did this. It was because they wanted the kids to grow up, and Scott Derrickson, the director, said that he wanted to sort of make a high school coming of age story in the same way that the Black Phone 1 was more of a middle school coming of age story. So he decided to wait, and now we have the Black Phone 2. So how does the grabber come back? And of course, spoilers ahead. I don't know, you're watching a Black Phone 2 video, so I doubt you care about spoilers, but for anybody out there who's going to comment, oh, you spoil stuff, here you go, spoiler warning. Go ahead and comment already, because you're still going to comment it. But the grabber is very much so Freddy Krueger-esque in this new trailer we got. So Ethan Hawke reprises his role as the grabber. You have Mason Thames coming back as well, also Madeleine McGraw, and this is definitely a movie that I am curious to see how it would be. They said that this new Black Phone movie would be new and unexpected and go somewhere we didn't ever expect it to do so. So as we know, and as I said, the character of the grabber did die in the first film at the end at the hands of Finney. And apparently what we see here is that the trailer shows some creepy sequences, which we'll talk about in a bit, but I'm reading off the Hollywood Reporter, and I'm also going to read off a discussing film. Sadly, we didn't attend CinemaCon, and that's on me. I forgot to put in the application, but next year we shall go. So apparently we see the Black Phone ringing inside a lone telephone booth that's located on a snowy tundra. So apparently this is going to take place around the snow, which I think snow is always so dope for horror films and in the winter time. So there's that. Thames' character of Finney answers it, and he has an exchange with the grabber that gets pretty heated. And the grabber says, "Did you think our story was over?" And the boy says, "You're dead." And the grabber says, "You of all people should know that dead is just a word." So that is definitely eerie, and it definitely sounds interesting right there. Now, discussing film has more of what the trailer actually showcased, so let's get into it right here, as it says that this is going to be a film that takes place during the winter, and apparently it has a very interesting bleak vibe to it. It starts off with a slow version of Alice in Chains' The Rooster that's already sounding like, oh, this is going to go into a very dark place. It apparently shows a child being chased through the snow and what looks like to be some grainy lo-fi footage. And I think that lo-fi footage and grainy vibe and sort of like disruption that it had in the first film with the opening credits was one of the eeriest things I've ever seen. So if they're continuing that here, I'm definitely ready to see what's going on. As the child's terrified face flashes on the screen, it lingers even through the next image. We then see Finney, who appears to be living a sullen life, and his sister Gwen, played by Madeleine McGraw of course, having strange visions. The repeated images of an out-of-order Black Phone and Gwen at a summer camp build to reveal as the Black Phone then rings. The grabber is now hanging around the afterlife, out to make their life a living hell. The rest of the footage is pure nightmare fuel. There's a striking image of the grabber ice skating towards the camera in slow motion. It appears that the grabber has a special connection with Gwen, managing to somehow get a hold of her from and spinning her around in rapid succession as Finney appears to see that image in a phone booth. Without a doubt, it looks even more terrifying than the first movie, given its stronger supernatural elements. So I'm very curious about that. Like I said, it definitely sounds like they're making the grabber be more of this like Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street and sort of haunting you in dreams and in visions of sorts. And I'm curious, like, how does the grabber able to manage this? Of course, like, how is the grabber able to do this? That's what I'm very excited to see. And of course, I don't need the answer for it. I'm saying more in terms of how this looks. How can the grabber like physically grab you and do all of these things to you? Is it only when you're asleep? Is it only when you're sort of in a weak position? That's the interesting part right here. So the film The Black Phone 2 will release from Blumhouse and Universal on October 17th. And I have a theory and a very strong thought that this is probably going to be a Fantastic Fest, because the Black Phone, the first one, was a Fantastic Fest, and the timelines kind of like are meshing together with, yeah, it makes sense because Fantastic Fest is sort of towards the end of September, and that gives it a 2 or 3 week run in order to be released. And after, word of mouth builds great, and it's a hit, right? We know that the first one was a huge hit. We've talked about it extensively here. It is based on the short story by Joe Hill, and the director Scott Derrickson and writer C. Robert Cargill would only have came back if Joe Hill had the idea to do a sequel, which he did. So that makes me even more like, yeah, this is going to be good. This is definitely sounding like this is going to be a good film, because if the writer of the original short story is on board and the writer and the director of the film, I think this is going to be great. So I'm excited to see what they're doing here. We've covered already some other interviews that Scott Derrickson just had a couple of months ago about the Black Phone 2. So if you want to go check out those videos, go check them out on our channel. They should be up already. And I'm interested to know, what do you think about this new trailer teaser that was shown? We probably won't see another teaser or trailer for this. Probably not until, I would say, the summer of sorts, maybe until Megan 2.0, which comes out on June. So we probably have a bit away before we get to know anything else about this movie. And I'm excited though. I am ready. I am set for the Black Phone 2 and what it holds. But I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions on this movie? What do you think about the grabber coming back? Do you like this sort of like dive into a bit more supernatural? Like, yes, the first Black Phone had a supernatural element to it, but the grabber was very much so a demented, like, serial criminal, right? Like a true one, real life, right? I think that's what made the grabber so scary in that one, that this was like a twisted individual that was doing this because he just had these dark thoughts. And I wonder how it sort of translates now that he is a vengeful ghost, right? He is somebody who's out there and able to be introduced through your thoughts or through your dreams. I don't know how they're doing it. I feel like they can't really go too much into the dream scenario, because then it would kind of make it too much like Nightmare on Elm Street. But I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. I'm here to watch it with open arms and just see what it is. I'll take it for what it is. I don't usually like to put like these expectations or these sort of like things that I would want the movie to be, because then that sets you up for failure. But we'll see. Black Phone 2 comes out this year, October 17th. Comment below. Are you going to go see it opening night, or are you a little bit hesitant to watch this movie? Let me know. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification on the road to 40,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe. Stay positive.